Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Live It Up. This is the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We'll cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a life that you absolutely love. In other words, how to live it up. I'm your host, Fletcher Ellingson. We'll be joined by Dr. Amy Ellingson on the second segment of our show as she brings some excellent information you'll want to hear to keep you on track for creating wellness. Health is the first wealth, so stay tuned for that. As a results coach, my passion is helping my clients break through what has been stopping them from reaching their goals and dreams. And today, I'm here as your coach. I want you to experience your own power so that you can begin actively creating the life of your dreams. Now, if you have challenges or questions that you would love us to address on or off this show, email them to me at fletcher@fletcherellingson.com or visit me at www.fletcherellingson.com. Okay, let's get to today's first question. Mary writes, "Dear Fletcher, I feel like I don't experience any happiness or joy in my life. If something can go badly in life, it does. Whether it's my work, my health, my marriage, I feel stuck and I don't know what to do." Well, first off, Mary, way to get into action. Sometimes that's the hardest part, isn't it? I mean, it requires vulnerability. And you know what else it requires? Courage. And you're going to hear me say this again and again, but strong people ask for help. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Mary, I absolutely hear you, and I want you to know that you're not alone. There are so many people who experience life in this way, and it can feel frustrating, scary, lonely. Raise your hand if you've ever felt this way. I know I have many times. Have you ever been in a place in your life where things just don't seem to be working out? It doesn't feel good, does it? And one of the reasons it's so disturbing is that we humans, we are always looking to feel good. It's the main thing in life that we want. And for some people, feeling good may mean feeling safe or significant or cared for. It may mean experiencing connection or learning and having fun. There's lots of ways of feeling good. Now, there's nothing wrong with feeling emotions of sadness or frustration or anger. All those emotions, they all have a message that something is different from what we want. But when you get stuck, meaning that you're not able to move through or past an experience, or you keep on creating similar situations in your life that give you those same undesired results, then it becomes a problem. And this is what Mary is experiencing. So, what do? Number one, recognize it and claim it. It doesn't help to deny the situation. Recognize the problem or challenge so that you can begin to get help and deal with it. And Mary, you've recognized it. You've reached out to me. So good job. That's how you start. So now, let's get started. The first thing I want you to do, Mary, is change your focus. Because right now, you're focused on what is not working. It's important to notice what's not working, but when we get stuck, as you said you are, it's because we're focused on the problem and not the solution. And as a rule of thumb, spend way more time on the solution. One easy way to do that is to get grateful. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude. It's of the utmost importance. It takes us out of the victim mentality and into a sense of gratefulness as we take stock of what is working well for us. Another way of saying this is simply count your blessings. For instance, are you employed? Can you talk? Can you walk? Do you have food in the cupboards? Do you have a roof over your head? What about, do you have access to the internet? If yes, my gosh, then you have access to endless education and entertainment and the ability to improve your life. Is the sun shining? Can you get out and enjoy nature? Can you get out and enjoy your surroundings? Take time to count your blessings and know that you are wonderfully blessed and you're going to continue to be blessed. And believe that life has wonderful things coming your way. I know that it does. Being grateful will shift your focus, okay? Now, while you're in this grateful state of mind, let's get to work. Brian Tracy is a well-known author and trainer in the business world. He states that your ability to discipline yourself, to set clear goals and then to work toward them every day, that will do more to guarantee your success in life than any other single factor. So Mary, you and I, we're going to talk about developing clarity. Clarity provides access to action, and action is power. Successful people in any area of life, they know exactly what they want, and they have a clear direction and a plan of action to reach their desired results. An easy example is money. So let's take that for example. Do you want a lot of money? Well, first define a lot. You see, successful people know the exact amount they want to generate, sometimes right down to the last penny. And wishing for lots of money is vague and not measurable. So clarity is the key. If you don't have a clear target, you can never hit it. In fact, without a target, you won't even know which way to aim, right? So get clear about what you want. One of my clients, her name is Susan, she had a goal of having money in savings. And when I asked her how much she wanted to save, she didn't have an answer. Further questioning revealed that not only did she not have money in her savings, but she didn't even have a savings account. So after a realistic conversation about her bills and how much money she made each month, it became clear that she could immediately begin putting away $100 a month, okay, into a savings account. And while that may not seem like much to some, to those with zero in savings, $100 each month, that's huge. So armed with a plan of action, she went to the bank that week, she opened a savings account and put in $100. How do you think she felt? Yeah, she felt great. She felt responsible, she felt proud, and it all started with a shift in her thinking, getting clarity about her finances. All right, I'm going to give you some other ways to take on your life in a powerful manner, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, so stick around, we'll be right back.
Have a fun video you'd like to see featured on NCW Life? Email us at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.
Hey, welcome back. We were just talking with Mary about creating clarity in her life. When I interview people and ask them, hey, how did you wind up writing a book or creating that business, or how did you get out of debt? You know what the answer never is? The answer is never, oh, it just happened. Nope. The answer is never that. The answer is always something like, I had an idea, I had a goal, I had a burning desire. In fact, they'll oftentimes say, I was sick and tired of being in debt, or sick and tired of being sick, or I was tired of always being in pain. So they developed clarity, which provided inspiration that motivated them into action. Again, clarity provides access to action, and action, that's power. All right, so the next thing that's important in creating freedom in your life is to avoid blaming others. This is a big one. This is a really big one, because the blame game is an attractive game to play, especially when we're stuck. But it's not going to contribute anything to the solution. In fact, blaming others, that will just likely get you even more stuck. So when we blame, we give up our power. We put the power and responsibility on someone else, which leaves us totally ineffective. The powerful person, they don't blame. They recognize what's working and what's not working. They take responsibility for removing what's not working in their life, whether that is a relationship or a job, a way of being or a habit or a pattern. You see, if you're blaming someone for what's not working, then you have to wait for that person to come and fix the situation. The powerful person sees what's not working for their life, and because they take responsibility, they've got the power to create change. So empower yourself by eliminating blame. And finally, Mary, you can help create a sense of freedom by refraining from comparing yourself to others. And I love this quote by Theodore Roosevelt. He once said that comparison is the thief of joy. Mark Twain went even further. He said comparison is the death of joy. You see, it doesn't serve us when we compare ourselves to others. Now, it does serve us to notice what's working for others so that we can model that, but not when we do it from a sense of, oh, they're better than us, or I'm so lame, or I can never do that. I think you get the point. Stop comparing and start creating. I'll say it again, stop comparing and start creating. All right, let's recap. The first thing to do when you're stuck is, number one, recognize it, claim it. Number two, get grateful by creating an attitude of gratitude. Then create clarity, stop blaming, stop comparing, and get into action. Start today. What can you do today, even right now? Is there a phone call that you've been putting off, a conversation you need to have? Is there a chore or a task you've been procrastinating doing? Other people have done this, Mary. I know you can do it too. You have value. You have something to offer this world, and I believe in you. All right, next up on today's show is Dr. Amy Ellingson is going to join us, educate us, and inspire us in the area of health. It's good stuff. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Is your vehicle in need of a quick oil change or tune-up before hitting the road this summer? Stop by Quick Lube and Tune, the home of the good guys at 610 South Wenatchee Avenue.
Welcome back to Live It Up. Hey, we're here with Dr. Amy Ellingson from the Lake Chelan Clinic. Hello.
Hello.
So tell us, what are we talking about today?
So today we're going to talk about high blood pressure, and it's a very common problem. 1 in 3 Americans have high blood pressure.
1 in 3?
1 in 3.
Wow.
And so if you have high blood pressure today, you can learn a little bit more how to control it. And if someone in your family has high blood pressure, you may be able to learn how to help them help themselves. And then if you can also learn some tips on how to prevent yourself from getting high blood pressure.
Well, let's jump into this. I don't even know what it is, so can you tell me and everyone else, what is high blood pressure?
So high blood pressure, a lot of people ask that question. It's literally high pressure in the arteries in your body. And so the arteries are the blood vessels that take the oxygenated blood from your heart to the rest of your body. So if you think like of a garden hose, where if you turn it on just a little bit, there's not much pressure. If you turn it on a lot, there's high pressure. And then you might think, well, high pressure is good in a garden hose.
I like that.
But if you were to take the pressure that, say, a fire hose needed and put that pressure in a garden hose, the walls of the garden hose would become damaged. And that's what high blood pressure does.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what should my blood pressure be?
So the numbers have recently been clarified a little bit to have pre-diabetes and diabetes stage 1. But basically, for the average young adult or the average adult, your blood pressure should be 120 on the top number or less, and then 80 or less on the bottom number. Even though there have been these clarifications, like I mentioned, still, unless you have blood pressure that's greater than 140/90, on average, you're probably not going to be started on medication.
Okay. Well, another question I have is, would I have symptoms letting me know that I have high blood pressure? Because how would I know?
Well, you wouldn't know, and you wouldn't likely have symptoms. I mean, some people have symptoms if their blood pressure is very, very high, but we don't see that very commonly at all. Usually just when you go to the doctor, you go to a health fair, you might decide to check it at the drugstore. That's how you know you have high blood pressure. It's been termed in the past the silent killer, because if no one knew they had it for decades, that's going to lead to some big problems.
All right. How do I know if I'm at risk of having it?
Well, there are certain things that would make you know that you're at risk, and so you should get checked. So if you have a family history of high blood pressure in your parents, as you get older, blood pressure goes up. So starting at age 35, if you haven't been to the doctor, it might be good to get checked or check it at the drugstore. And then obesity, being overweight or obese for sure increases blood pressure. If you're not very physically active, that can also increase your blood pressure. If you have sleep apnea, if you drink excessive amounts of alcohol, and what we're talking about excessive really is on a regular basis, women should have no more than 1 serving of alcohol a day, and men should have no more than 2 servings of alcohol a day. Also eating a lot of salt, which would mostly be in processed foods. So if you're someone who eats a lot of fast foods or prepackaged foods. And then lastly would be if you have a very high stress lifestyle, high stress job, that can over time lead to high blood pressure as well.
So is this why when I go to the clinic for anything, one of the first things I do is take my blood pressure?
Yeah, because you wouldn't know that you have high blood pressure most likely, like I said. So we check your blood pressure, and then we can tell you if you should follow up with your doctor about it.
Okay, and is that something I should be checking regularly, or just I'm fine when I go to the doctor to check it?
Well, you personally, you don't go to the doctor very much, which is fine. You're healthy. So, if you had it checked once a year, that's fine in your age group, yeah.
Got it. All right. So is there any physical discomfort, or why would somebody care if they have it?
Yeah, because like I mentioned, there's not really many symptoms, if any, but the problem is that, like I talked about that garden hose, is over time, the artery walls get damaged, and then because the arteries are damaged, then the organs that the arteries are supplying suffer from lack of blood supply.
Okay, so is there physical discomfort with high blood pressure?
No, there's not.
There's not.
No. Unless it's really high, we're talking 180 or 200 over something, people might get a headache or something like that.
Okay. Well, how does it do? If I can't feel the damage it's doing, how does it do the damage?
So let's take a baby, for example. They're born and their arteries have this very smooth lining on the inside, and then there's a muscular wall on the outside of arteries. So they have no damage to their blood vessels. But then over time, when people have high blood pressure, smoke, have high cholesterol, have diabetes, then what happens is because of that excess pressure or other things, the lining in the blood vessel gets damaged, and so it can cause blockages and little micro tears that can cause clot and atherosclerosis, which some maybe have heard of. The other thing that can happen, again, if you take that garden hose, as they get older, if they've been misused, they can get a tear in them. That can happen in our own arteries, called a dissection. Or the other thing that some people may have seen is that garden hose might get a weakness in the wall of the hose and it bulges out. And that's, in humans, in our arteries, we would call that an aneurysm. So those are some of the ways, so either lack of blood supply, clots causing stroke, aneurysm, or dissection.
Okay, so aneurysm is something I've heard about, and I don't know anything about anything medical. But so when I hear that, that's a result of high blood pressure?
Yeah, high blood pressure leads to that, and that's one of the risk factors for having aneurysms.
Okay.
Some people, aneurysms run in the family, but it's definitely a risk is having high blood pressure.
Wow, I'm learning a lot here about high blood pressure. I hope you are too. We're going to continue to learn more and find out what you can do to reverse it and treat it when we come back. Stay with us.
Get the fastest internet available in North Central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.
Hey, we're back. Welcome back to Live It Up. We are with Amy Ellingson, and we're talking about high blood pressure. And a couple more questions before we go. What are some of the health problems that can happen from having high blood pressure?
High blood pressure seems somewhat mundane, but really the statistics say that close to 1,000 people die in the U.S. each day as a consequence of high blood pressure.
Wow.
And high blood pressure increases your risk for many dangerous health conditions. For the people that are having their first heart attack, 7 out of 10 have had high blood pressure. For the first stroke, it's 8 out of 10 people have high blood pressure. And when you talk about stroke too, even there's something called micro strokes or microvascular disease, where when we do a CT scan on someone in their 70s, say, or older, and doing a CT scan or MRI, you can see these small areas of damage that have occurred that the patient doesn't even know, and that's from lack of blood supply. You can have congestive heart failure. High blood pressure is a huge risk for that. 7 out of 10 people with congestive heart failure have high blood pressure. Kidney disease and kidney failure, because again, we talk about the artery, the main artery to the kidney. If that gets narrowed or blocked, then you're going to have decreased blood supply to the kidney, and the kidney can get damaged. Dementia, when you have that microvascular disease or the damage to the brain, like I mentioned, it can cause a form of dementia. Eye damage, because your eyes have very small, delicate blood vessels. Artery damage in the eyes can lead to blindness and vision problems. And lastly, sexual dysfunction. So the blood vessels to the genitals are also somewhat small, and so they can be blocked and narrowed, and men will have erectile dysfunction, women can have sexual dysfunction. And actually a man who's having erectile dysfunction for the first time, that can be one of the first signs of having blood vessel damage.
Dang.
Yeah, a lot.
That's a lot that can go wrong. Take care of your blood pressure. And if let's say somebody does have high blood pressure, the next obvious question is, what can we do to treat it or prevent it?
Yeah, so besides medication, which we obviously have, getting regular exercise, 5 to 7 days a week makes a big difference. Limiting alcohol, which like I mentioned, for a woman less than 1, a man less than 2 drinks a day. Maintaining a healthy weight, even 5 to 7 pounds of weight loss makes a big difference for blood pressure. Eating natural, unprocessed foods will allow you to have enough fiber and really minimize the amount of sodium you're taking in. And doing regular breath work has also been shown to help.
Tell me a little bit about breath work.
Breath work. So breath work is a way to slow down your breathing, control your breathing. There's actually an FDA-approved device called a Respirate, and it has a belly band and some earphones, and it helps you slow down your breathing. So you can actually do that at home, starting out by matching your inhales with your exhales, where you take 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, and slowly try to increase that. And the goal would be to try to get to less than 10 breaths per minute. So anything you can do to slow down your breathing, increase the time you're exhaling, can lower your blood pressure as well.
Very interesting.
Yes?
All right, last question. Why not just take medication?
So taking medication has a lot of side effects, or can, and with high blood pressure medication, that can be fatigue, dizziness, erectile dysfunction, ankle swelling. So that's a big deal. The second thing is, say you're already on 3 medications and you're only 50. Well, by the time you're 75, as your blood pressure normally is increasing, that could be a big issue.
Got it. So you're just going to be suffering through a lot of side effects.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And then the more medications you add, the more likely that you are to have them.
Okay. So it's really about what you are putting in your body, exercising. I mean, those are the two biggest things to help treat high blood pressure. That's what I'm hearing. Is that accurate?
Well, so yeah, physical exercise, limiting alcohol, if you have sleep apnea, getting it treated. Also sodium, we didn't really talk about that much, but the recommendation is no more than 1,500 milligrams a day. That's actually less than a teaspoon of salt. And most people get their sodium from fast foods, processed foods, prepackaged foods, and most Americans do way more than double that, more than 3,000 milligrams of sodium a day. So sodium also makes a big deal in blood pressure.
Any parting words for us?
I just want everyone to know that wellness is available to you, and I'm really here to help you create a body where healing, health, and vitality are possible.
Excellent. Now get out there, be a source of kindness, be a source of contribution, and come on back right here to Live It Up.
This is State Representative Kerry Condata inviting you to watch our new and improved 12th District 2.0 show. Guest hosts John Wise and Shiloh Shower bring it all home with yours truly, Kerry Condata.